What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today, BCH. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. Here we are at $410 right now. It is the 7th of June. We're consolidating. We're actually, I think, holding up better than most cryptos from their April lows. Let's just see here. Yeah, April. If we're looking at this, man, I mean, from the low, come on now, get it. Come on, low here to where we are. Yeah, we're up 64%. The average coin is up, I want to say like 40% or something like that. Let's look at it actually right now. Hold on. Since the April lows right here. Yeah, 40. You're up literally 40%. So Bitcoin Cash outperforming the average coin since April, and it makes sense actually that it would, because we were literally on the precipice. We've been on the precipice, man, for a very long time of breaking out of this consolidation phase. We've been on the brink of the break since March of last year. You know what I mean? Like we're on the precipice for a very long time. I feel like those exact words. We're on the precipice of breaking out. I feel like I've said that for over a year. But still, in relativity to the whole life of Bitcoin Cash, we really are, and we really have been right on the precipice of breaking out of this move, of this consolidation phase. And I'm really expecting big things to come from Bitcoin Cash. You know, this doesn't really have so much to do with technical analysis, but I have a friend who I consider a friend still, but he's been a little bit unruly, a little bit angry with me. I don't know why. It's just because I'm not a Bitcoin Cash maximalist, right? I know that for a long time, for a long time with this channel, you guys, Bitcoin Cash was the bread and butter. It was my largest hold, okay? I talk about Onyx Coin all the time now because it's my largest hold. Not because I added more. I didn't sell my Bitcoin Cash for Onyx Coin. That's not what happened. It's just Onyx Coin went up more, and it's my biggest hold, and I started doing more research. I really do like DeFi, and so I talk about Onyx Coin all the time. Bitcoin Cash, to be fair, has basically been in the same price area for about a year now. So, it's pretty boring until we break out. I'm getting to the good part though. Bitcoin Cash is still my second largest bag, right? Yes, I talk about Cookie DAO. Yes, I talk about TARS AI or T-Bull, or I've put money in various different things, but Bitcoin Cash is still the second largest bag that I have. And it could very well replace Onyx Coin as my top bag if this breakout performance here is everything that we've expected it to be, right? I've got people who are mad at me because I don't show Bitcoin Cash as much love as I used to, but man, why are you mad at me? Why? Doesn't make any sense. What has it done? Has there been anything worth talking about really over the past, if not a year, at least since July, right? The only thing that's worth talking about right now with Bitcoin Cash, beyond the obvious stuff that all the Bitcoin Cashers know, is the fact that we're going to break out of this range. We haven't done that yet, right? That's the only exciting thing, at least in my opinion, right? There's other exciting things on a fundamental level, but I'm not a fundamental guy. I'm a chart monkey. You want the fundamental stuff? Follow the Bitcoin Cash podcast. They're great. Jeremy and Jed over there, they're very smart, and they're up to date with all the stuff. I keep up with them all the time. I don't keep up with them like I'm not in good communication, but shout out to Jeremy and Jet. The Bitcoin Cash podcast. You want to keep up with the fundamental stuff? Those are your guys. You want the technical stuff? I'm your guy. But guess what? The technicals are the same now as they were about a year ago. So that's, if you're wondering why. And that's kind of how it is with a lot of altcoins, if you haven't noticed, or cryptos that I talk about. If they're being boring, I kind of phase them out. And I talk about the ones that are exciting. Why? Because the exciting ones are making me money, and they're making you money. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to talk about the same coin that's just in the same exact price area. It gets boring after a little while, right? And you have to move on. You have to look to make money elsewhere. Otherwise, you're just going to get left behind in this market. But speaking of getting left behind, here you are at $410. I think you're going to leave behind this entire large consolidation phase that you've been in, man. You're going to leave it behind. You're going to leave behind the rest of the markets as well, and see an immaculate pump over the coming weeks, over the coming month and a half. $410 right now. The expectation at a minimum, let's start with this actually. Let's start with the others chart, okay? The average crypto I'm anticipating from the current valuation, okay? This does include Bitcoin Cash technically, right? The average crypto in the top 125, we'll see something on the lines of probably a 3.5x to maybe a 5x itself. 3.5 to a 5x. I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw something that was like closer to like a 4.5x, but 3.5 to a 5x. Okay, that's what the average coin's going to see. Okay, Bitcoin Cash has outperformed the average coin. Okay, can we at least we established that first thing in the video. So if Bitcoin Cash has outperformed the average coin since April, It's probably even, I wonder, has it outperformed the average coin this whole cycle even? Let's see. Since November to where we are now, you're up 368%. Since, would it be November, December for you guys, December for the average coin, 255%. Yes, Bitcoin Cash, even though it's been boring for the last year, has outperformed the average coin this cycle 368% to 255%. Largely has outperformed the average coin this cycle. So all the Bitcoin cashers are actually having a field day right now. Have we outperformed Bitcoin? I don't think so, but let's see. Yeah, no, we have not. I didn't think so because the BCH BTC chart went down. So actually that makes sense. Yeah, Bitcoin's largely outperforming things, but since April, Bitcoin Cash has outperformed Bitcoin and the rest of the markets. All I'm trying to say by this is that if it's outperformed the average coin so far, if it's outperformed the average coin recently, it's probably going to outperform the average coin on this next move. And the largest move that I can come up with is about a 400% move, a 5x, okay? That would mean I would expect at a minimum then that we see something of a similar standard, right? A 400% move would take us right into the 786, 886 zone, and I think that makes a lot of sense. We've interacted with the golden ratio once. We're going to interact with it the second time. We likely break through, and we'll likely stop at the 786, 886 area. I'm telling you, BCH right now at $410, if the average coin's expected to move 3.5x, that's $1,400 for Bitcoin Cash. Okay, 5x would put it at, and probably less than 5x for the average coin, put it at $2,000. If Bitcoin Cash outperforms the average altcoin, then we'll probably be on the upper ends of average, which would be something between like 300 to 400%, if not more. And I really do believe that whenever this breakout happens, the reason why we talk about it every single video is because there's what else is there to talk about? You know, there's a lot of fundamental things to talk about. There's some exciting things going on all the time. But again, I'm the chart guy. You want the fundamental stuff, you go to the Bitcoin Cash podcast. Shout out to Jeremy and Jet one last time. They're great, man. They deserve way more subscribers. But the thing is, I think they'll get more subscribers once Bitcoin Cash does its thing, once Bitcoin Cash is on the map. Because right now, Bitcoin Cash is this niche type community of people who are still in the mindset of what crypto is like really supposed to be about, right? And that's how I know it's going to prevail. That's why it's my second largest coin, right? That's why it is. And maybe retrospectively, as it pumps and it does its thing, we'll look back and be like, damn it, I should have added more to Bitcoin Cash, right? But $410 now, it wouldn't surprise me if by the end of July, we were all the way up at $2,700 or $1,800. That's what I'm trying to get to. This is the next target zone, which is a 330%. That's a 4.3x move. That's about average, the expectation that we'd expect from the average altcoin. So likely you don't stop there. Likely you do go above that. What's the next stopping point? The 886. This monthly closing high. You're not like demolishing the average coin. You're not like tripling or doubling their performance. I mean, maybe some of them actually. I mean, maybe some, but not the average. You know, you're up like, if the average altcoin's up like 40% right now, and you're up 60%, then what? You're doing like 0.5 more x. It's like a 0.5x extra, 1.5x, right? So if the average coin does this, then maybe you do stop somewhere. I could see you stopping around 2,700, but I anticipate. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Whenever we break out of this zone here, you guys, we will not settle for anything less than higher prices than our last cycle's high and something that's probably lower than our all-time high. The only thing that I assume that I'd be incorrect about is that we don't stop here and that we actually go higher. We might not be bullish enough on Bitcoin Cash. When I say we, I'm implying, I say we assuming that most people in the community probably don't assume Bitcoin Cash will be at new all-time highs by the end of July, right? I'm assuming most people probably don't assume that whenever I say we. I don't know, maybe not. But I would also assume that most people probably don't assume we'll be up here above these prices by the end of July either. It's June 7th. End of July is less than a month and a half away, or it's about a month and a half away. You know what I mean? It's not that far from here. So in the next month and a half, we're going to see the most immaculate growth we've seen since the inception of Bitcoin Cash, or since the hard fork, I should say. The inception was technically back in what, 2009, 2008. When was Bitcoin incepted? When was Bitcoin incepted? I should know this, man. I call myself an OG. When was the first when was the inception of Bitcoin? Which is also Bitcoin Cash, right? No, I don't want you to think, Grok. Don't think about it. Don't think. Yeah. January 3rd, 2009. Okay, I thought it was 2009. Yeah. Yep. Anyways. Yeah, man. That's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to rip. We're going to move up to the upside. We're loading right now. Nothing else is worth talking about because what? The stopping points along the way. You guys, when we break out of this, there's not really going to be any stopping points. You've seen how this thing's moved this cycle so far. We're in a very large consolidation phase inside of a very large consolidation phase. When this breaks, it's going to be epic. I'm telling you, it's going to be the largest move Bitcoin Cash has ever seen. And if it's not that, then at least the second, right? Here's the largest move we've ever seen. From the same prices, we moved up 892% in a 2-month period, right? I'm just talking about a month and a half from now. 460% from here, right? In about a month and a half. I think we can do that. I think we can do more than that, right? And if it's not, if it doesn't continue afterwards, if in the months to come we don't see something that's larger than this move, it'll still be the second largest move I think that Bitcoin Cash has ever seen in its history. Is loading right now, is about to load up right now and blow up. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but that's just my thoughts there. Daily RSI. Kind of would make sense that we find resistance here, in my opinion, right? You've got a higher high in the RSI on the daily time frame, I think. Yeah, higher high here, lower high in the price. You're also at a point of resistance right here. I think Bitcoin's about to start pulling back too, so BCH probably does. Yeah, you're at a resistance point on the 4-hour RSI as well, and a resistance point here on the price. So you probably pull back. Not a lot of volume coming in right now. It's the weekend. Weekends promote fake price. You're probably going to pull back. I don't know if you go lower than this low, but if you do go lower than that low, I would assume it's not going to be too much lower. From a low to a high here, 382, you reached for it. Maybe you find direct like double bottom support right there. I mean, you kind of already did. Maybe it's a triple bottom, whatever. Maybe you go just a little bit below the 382, which is pretty common, and you find support somewhere around like 365, 300 and something. I doubt you go all the way down to 347, but anything's possible. Bitcoin Cash is a squirrely one, man. We know that it likes to be volatile. Volatility is the name of the game. Bitcoin Cash is probably one of the most tradable coins out there because of its volatility, actually. Like if you're paying attention to it and you're trading it, you could actually make some serious gains with this. Don't leverage, just do spot. Who cares? It's much better to do spot, in my opinion. It's a lot less stressful. You won't make money as fast, but if you're trying to make money fast, you're going to lose money fast, right? Try to do it slow, and that's how you make money fast. Anyways, I got nothing else for you guys other than philosophy, so I'm just going to end it there. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and for anybody out there that thinks I've abandoned Bitcoin Cash, it's literally my second largest bag. I haven't talked about it, even though it's my second largest bag. I haven't talked about it because it's been boring. I'm sorry, it's been boring. Do something. Do something. I'll be talking about this thing every day, every damn day for a year once we break out. I'm going to be shouting from the rooftops, the small blockers got beat. We're literally proving everybody in crypto wrong right now. And we can. If anybody uses the narrative that Bitcoin Cash is already a proven failed project, they're showing their true colors of a lack of knowledge in the matter, right? Bitcoin Cash has not lost the battle versus Bitcoin. There is no battle between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin. There was at first. That's what the block wars were about. There was a battle at first, but now there's no battle. Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin are not in the same league, and that's not just by market cap. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Bitcoin is a store of value. Bitcoin Cash is peer-to-peer cash. That's totally different things. Totally different things. The idea that Bitcoin Cash can't exist because Bitcoin exists, Bitcoin Cash will not be successful because Bitcoin's successful, right? One of them has to succeed, which means the other one has to fail. That's a fallacy at this point because Bitcoin has taken on a new personality. Totally different than what the Satoshi white paper, Satoshi himself, the creator of Bitcoin, totally different than what he had intended. And that's not a bad thing. The world needs a store of value. We need a store of value, but we also need peer-to-peer cash. And as far as a decentralized peer-to-peer cash-based system, electronic digital cash-based system goes, Bitcoin Cash is probably the most secure, most trusted, and most similar to Bitcoin, the actual true commitment that Bitcoin was supposed to have in its white paper. This is the closest to that. It's literally the closest thing to that in the space. Bitcoin isn't even Bitcoin anymore. So the idea that Bitcoin Cash is a failed project or that it's going to go down because Bitcoin's succeeding, it's a fallacy. It's a fallacy at this point. I really do think that I thought that it would be this cycle, and maybe it will be by the end of this cycle. We'll start to hear this narrative, but it might be more prominent next cycle. The narrative that Bitcoin Cash might overtake Bitcoin. I know that's a strong narrative in the Bitcoin Cash community, but I think it's going to be a strong narrative in the whole crypto community. There's going to be people who are going to start to think, can this thing flip Bitcoin? That conversation is going to come out. I don't think it ever will. Store of value versus cash. I think the store of value coin has more reasons to to hold its value, and it's already at such a high value right now. I think Bitcoin Cash will outperform it in the cycles to come, but I don't know if it'll ever catch it. But it's meant to be used as cash, so it's going to be different valuation entirely, but it's still going to be a high valuation. I don't know, man. I don't have anything else to say. I'm just rambling at this point. But anybody out there, if you ever get in an argument with somebody and they tell you Bitcoin Cash can't exist because it's either Bitcoin exists or Bitcoin Cash exists, they can't both exist. We don't need two of them. Well, we don't have two of them. They're totally different things. I mean, they're not totally different, I suppose, right? They are hard forks of each other. They're like fraternal twins, I guess, but they're different as far as what their mission statement is, and they can both succeed in their missions, right? Bitcoin Cash, I think, is just something that's more useful and beneficial to the planet than BTC is at this point, right? Satoshi'd be rolling over in his grave at people celebrating government adoption, strategic stockpiles from governments. Michael Saylor, he's rolling over in his grave right now if he's dead. Like this is not what Bitcoin was intended for. Bitcoin Cash is what Bitcoin was intended for. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.